You've probably seen pictures of the mob which stormed the American embassy in Saigon, desperate to find a way out in the final hours of the Vietnam War. But maybe you haven't heard the radio transmissions of the American pilots who pulled off the largest helicopter evacuation in history. I know I hadn't until we found some of them in the Marine Corps archives.
Okay, well, let's pick it up here. Looks like things are about to close up, and we want to be able to give them the support they need. Go ahead and max it out.
That's the airborne commander directing helos into both the embassy and Tan Son Nhut Airport outside Saigon to pick up hundreds of Americans and thousands of Vietnamese.
Roger, find out for sure how many aircraft Alamo needs at this time.
Alamo is the call sign for the airport, which was being shelled by advancing North Vietnamese troops.
Okay, they're on the way with their feet wet at this time, and we'll have them there as soon as possible.
Feet wet means the helos are still over the South China Sea, flying from aircraft carriers off the coast.
Okay, 2 more 53s as soon as possible.
53s are CH-53s, the largest of the helicopters.
Okay, I understand. Dash 1 and Dash 2 are fully loaded. That's a roger, then we got a big load again. Captain, about 60 per air? At least.
70 helicopters shuttling between ships and shore.
Everything's blinking and turning. Your please pass to all aircraft coming inbound. They must come on with a rotating beacon. On to final. We're having problems with aircraft trying to land on each other.
2 Marines at the airport have been killed by North Vietnamese shelling, and the helicopters are in danger of being shot down.
Be advised, we're having many reports of AAA airburst at altitude and also lots of muzzle flashes with no associated tracers.
The airport, also known as Alamo, is becoming too dangerous.
Alamo says 10 more lifts and that's it. 10 more lifts. Roger, understand. 10 more lifts.
That leaves the embassy as the only way out of Saigon.
26 Bravo, proceed inbound towards the embassy area. I believe that's the area I can use you in.
But the embassy is under siege by a panicked crowd.
Okay, be advised, as I understand it, there's 2,000 uncontrollable people in the courtyard. You want to put a 53 in there?
I actually landed at the embassy about 1 o'clock.
Jerry Berry is the first pilot to land at the embassy, setting down in the parking lot. His call sign, Lady Ace 09.
This is Lady Ace 09, Roger. We're outbound at this time with our passengers. How many passengers? Lady Ace 09 has 18 on board. Lady Ace 01 has 20. Roger, 120, copy, good.
Berry flew a CH-46 helicopter. How many people does it carry?
25 combat troops. So if you carried Vietnamese who are much smaller and they weren't carrying any bags, we would put 50 to 60 on there when we'd carry them out.
The CH-46 is light enough to land on the embassy roof, opening up a second landing zone inside the crowded compound.
Land on the rooftop of the embassy, over.
Up on the roof, an attempting target.
Also felt that there was probably a lot of North Vietnamese that had infiltrated the city earlier. I felt we could have been taken out probably if somebody wanted to at about any time. It was very, very scary when you landed on that roof and you could see all those people down below.
The rooftop is also where Marine guards are burning mountains of classified documents.
The embassy's got a large fire on the rooftop at this time. They're loading people at this time. Lady H-14 is in there.
Glitches are inevitable.
The last 2 that went in there on Swift 2-1 flight, no one got aboard. There was nobody on the rooftop.
The helos don't have time to wait.
A helicopter has so much flight time. You could only fly a CH-46 about 2 hours.
It's about 40 minutes each way from the ships to the embassy, not counting the time it takes to load.
I was unable to make any contact with anybody that gets on into any of the zones. I'm now bingo fuel.
Bingo is pilot talk for low on fuel.
But now the weather gets bad. It's about 7:30, 8 in the evening. Weather comes in and it's going a little slower.
We got bad weather in the area. Are you above or below the cloud deck at this time? Sir, we're below the cloud deck at this time. Okay, Knife, I suggest you stay in the below the cloud deck.
I'm flying up the Saigon River at about maybe 150 feet because the weather's closing in. And that's when I thought, there's got to be all kinds of wires across this river. So you pull back on this and you climb like mad. The heart stopped beating for a minute because it was dark, couldn't see anything.
And the North Vietnamese are getting closer.
I can see the tanks coming down the road.
You could see the tanks.
North Vietnamese tanks, because their lights are on. They're driving down the highway.
You are to land on the rooftop and deliver a message. I say again, to deliver a message. All U.S. must come out now.
Until now, Ambassador Graham Martin has refused to leave.
I land on the embassy roof at 4:56 in the morning on 30 April 1975, and I called the Marine security guard over, and I said, "You go tell the ambassador this helicopter's not leaving the roof until he's on board." And then my best aviator voice, I said, "The president sends." Order from the president. Did you have authority to? I have no authority to do that at all. But, I mean, there's got to be an end here. 2 minutes later, his whole entourage are up, they're ready to go. The ambassador brings the American flag with him. Did it feel to you then, hey, the war is over? Certainly, it did. You go through this thing in your brain right away, was this all for naught? Did we lose the 58,000 plus Americans? Hope for something. Barry flies the ambassador to one of the ships offshore, only to find that the war is not over. Well, now you have to go back and get the Marines.
We've got Swift 3-3 and Swift 2-2. Choppers going into the embassy to pick up the last Americans there. There should be about 33 to 35 of them left.
The Marines who guard the embassy are barricaded on the roof.
We thought for sure that we were going to be left there, kind of swallow hard, you know, because by that time the tanks were passing by from the Vietnamese.
Juan Valdez, now 87 and in assisted living, is the sergeant in charge. Jerome Thomas is one of his Marines.
The question that was going through everybody's mind was, should we fight or should we surrender? And everybody there to a man was like, we're fighting, you know, because Marines never surrender.
We were there for 2.5, maybe 3 hours waiting, and then all of a sudden, at a distance, we saw 2 choppers coming back.
According to the count they gave me, it should be 25 remaining. I'll tell you, Wes, it looked like 425 down there to me.
I recommend that you pick up as many as you can when you go in. We had an underestimate on report before, and this is why we had to scramble YouTube. So try to pick up as many as you can, and also when you come off, give us a good head count of how many is left for 2-2 to pick up.
Roger, we'll do what we can.
We better pick up 22 on board, and there's 10 left for Swift 2-2 to pick up.
Actually, there are 11 left to be picked up by the final helo, Swift 22.
All souls on board, all souls on board, over.
Understand, 11 packs on board with the commander.
I was the last one to go aboard.
Swift 2-2 says he is out with 11 packs on board, including the commander. All the Americans are out. That is